Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second chapter of Base SAS. In previous chapter, we learned what SAS is and what components of SAS are there in Base SAS software, and how to navigate from one window to another. We saw that in the previous chapter. Now we are going to cover that what SAS libraries are, what is SAS Data Set, and how to work with the SAS syntax and using data lines to create SAS data set. So let's begin. So libraries basically, as I told you in the previous class as well, that libraries is nothing but a storage location where you store your data sets. So uh, as I saw you in the SAS environment, that there were libraries icon in the Explorer window. So as soon as you will click on this libraries option, you will get some other folders like map SFK, map SAS, maps help, or SAS user, and work. So these are the SAS libraries which are by default get installed when you install any instance of SAS. So today we will try to know how to create our own SAS library. So basically, before we create a one, I would like to tell you that there are two type of SAS libraries. One is, we can create in two ways. One is programmatically, another is manually. So, but there are some rules which you need to keep in mind while creating a library, that the name of library cannot be more than 8 characters. It should not begin with a number or underscores. So it must have begin with letters or an underscore, but it cannot begin with the number. So for example, they have given the valid library names here, like green, train, I-20, underscore 1234, and track underscore 01. So last two names are valid. Why? Because it is beginning from underscore, and in the last one we have underscore in between. But as I said that it cannot begin with the number, that is why the other side, the invalid library names, 1234 is not a valid name. I-20 underscore diesel, then India 275 slash 14. Then we have a lot of special characters or predigators. So in most of them you can see that they have length of more than 8 characters, or the third name, which is India, then space. So library name cannot accept spaces in it, or it should not be more than 8 characters. So as I said that we can create it in two different ways. One is manually and second is programmatically. So I'll be creating a library. So before I create a library, let me tell you that by default, whatever we create, like if I talk about data sets, whatever data sets which we create, that by default gets stored into work library. I did shown an example in last session. But if I create any other library, that would be, it depends that how you want to create that. You can create that as a permanent library. So next time whenever you will open the session, it will automatically appear here in this window. And if you don't want that to appear, that will not appear. It's up to you. So first of all, I'm going to create a library. I'll create it as a manual library, right? Manually. So I'll go to this Explorer window. I'll right click. Now you will get this option: open, new, delete, and property. I'll click on new. It says library. I'll give it any name. Let me call it as Satya. Engine will remain default. Engine is nothing but a type of source you want to use. So you can see that Access, Esther, Bloomberg, CVP, DB2, Excel, these are the type of files which you want to store. So I will take default, so that will be SAS. And this option, enable at startup, I'll tell you that how to use it. But before that, let me browse the location where I want to create it. So remember, as I said, it is nothing but the reference to a location. So let me go to IntelliPath, and then I'll create another folder here, and I'll say that library. I will browse that particular folder. Okay, and I will close. So you can see Satya, this was the reference to that folder that has been created here. But the other option, enable at startup, I'll show you that why and how. So I'm just closing my SAS session. I've just closed it. And now if I go to again into the SAS window, I'm opening my SAS session once again. I click on libraries. So you can see that SAS Satya folder is not there. Why? Because the folder which I created, it was just the reference. That folder will be there in the location, but the reference to that folder has been lost, right? In order to see that reference, what you need to do every time is, whenever you create the library, do click on enable at startup. Now if I go back to my location, okay, so Satya is here. Now I'll repeat those steps again. I'll close the SAS session, start the SAS session again. It's open now. I'll see into libraries. So you can see Satya is there. So as I have selected that enable at startup, so that is going to retain the reference to the location in the SAS itself. And this is what exactly I want, right? I have created a library manually, and now this reference will, whatever database I'll go and create here in Satya, that will be saved into that particular location which I browsed, right? So this is the one way how to create a SAS library. Now I'll tell you the other way of creating SAS library, the programmatically. How to create a SAS library programmatically. Okay. So I will, create. For that you need to write the SAS statement. What you want to write exactly. So you need to write a user command called libname, and then you need to use the name to your location. So I'll give it test 1, and then you need to specify the location where you want to create that particular library. So I'll pick up the location of same library folder like this. Then you need to use inverted quotes to put in the location, and finally terminate your statement with semicolon. And now run this statement. So now you can go back to the log window and see libname test C users the location. Now libtest1 refers to the same physical library as Satya. It told us that there is the same reference to the location as Satya. Libref test1 was successfully assigned to as follows, right? Engine v9, that is the default to SAS, and then physical name is this, and you can see that test1 has already been created here. So now this way of creating a SAS library is the programmatical event. So whenever you write your program, if you run this query or this statement, this is going to create your library, which will be located at this particular location. So if you save this SAS program, and whenever you open, see, I'll copy this. I've copied it. I'll close the SAS session, right? I'll go back and open the SAS session once again. So in libraries folder, I have Satya, but I don't have test1. So you need to just save that code and run every time whenever you open the session, the test1 will be created. So that is why we said that save your programs and keep the libref reference into that. So whenever you will be running that program, it will automatically take the reference from the location where it is saved. So this is how we create SAS libraries. Now, so as it said, to programmatically create a library, we need to use this code, that what we have just used. Now libref complete window address to the folder. Libref must follow the library name convention. So libref is nothing but the library reference. Libname test, and they have given the location here. And to delete manually, right click and delete, or to delete programmatically, use libname libref clear. So it's nothing. If you want to delete it, go back and click on delete. It will delete the library permanently. Or otherwise, if you want to use a SAS program to clear your library, so libname, then libref, the name which you have given, and then clear and close your statement. So this is going to clear the reference which you have created. So you can see test1 has vanished. Test1 has gone from the Explorer window. So these are the syntaxes which you need to use in order to create a library or in order to delete a library. Okay, let's move ahead. Making the connection. When you submit the libname statement, a connection is made between the libref in SAS and the physical location of file on your operating system. When your session ends, the link between the libref and physical location of your file is broken. So 1 level and 2 level file names. So every SAS file has 2 level of name. When I say 2 level of name, that means let me just talk about any data set from the SAS help library. So right now you can see that there are a lot of SAS data sets which are created into SAS help library. So if I go and write my code proc print data is equal to, let me take AS statement and then run. So basically, if I write this code and I try to refer this air data set, I won't be able to refer this particular data set. Why? Because I am using 1 level of data set name. Let me show you that if I run this, I'll get an error. And what error that is? It's running. It's trying to find the air data set, but what it said? Proc print data is equal to air, writing HTML body file SAS html.htm. Web.air.data does not exist, right? So basically what happened here, if I do not mention any library here, so by default it goes to the work library and tries to find out the air data set into the work library. But in work library I don't have this data set, that is why it gave me an error. Now if I mention here SAS.help, SAS help.air, so it will make a connection to SAS help library, and in that case if I run this query, I'm going to get a result, and that will show you in a moment. Here we go. So we have the result from the SAS help library. So this is exactly what I wanted to show you, that what is the meaning of two level of name, or what is the meaning of one level of a name. So if you're working in a work library, you can use one level of a name, means you need not to mention library before the datasets. But if you're working in any other library, or you want to refer to any other library, you need to use the two level of name. You need to mention the lib name or the library name, and then you can use the name of your dataset, right? So it says, what is the meaning of two level of file names? That every SAS file has two level name. Libref dot file name. The first name libref refers to the library. The second name file name refers to the file of the library. It means that data set. If libref is omitted, then the default is work. So as I said, if you are using single level of name, so it will directly refer to the work library. But every time we doesn't want to refer to the work library, so it's better to use the libref. Now they have just used the one of the exercise here, that submit the 4 line of the code and comment on what they do. First submit this. So let's use the same thing. In the first library statement, what they have done is proc contents data is equal to SAS help dot underscore all underscore. Okay, let us run this query and let's see what it does. Proc content, they have used data, and then SAS library. So let me take SAS help dot, then they used underscore all underscore, terminate the statement, and then run, and then again terminate your statement. Okay, so this is the first query which is written here. I'm going to run the same query and let's see what result it gives. It's executing. Alright, it's taking time. Okay, before it give you any result, let me tell you that what this is going to show. So as we said that proc contents, I haven't tell you yet, but the proc content is nothing but if suppose that if I specify a data set right here at the place of SAS help dot dataset name, so this is going to give you the detail of your that particular data set which you have selected here, right? It will tell you that how many records are there, or what are the data types, how many variables and observations are there in the data set. So this is going to tell you that thing. Now, as of now, I have used SAS help dot underscore all underscore. So this is going to give me the information about each and every data set located into SAS help library. So that is why it took time. Now let me show you from the beginning. Okay, so yes, this is the SAS system. Your result started from here. If you can see that how many data sets are there, and it gave the information about each and every data set, and that is why the window got so huge. You can say a long list. So the content procedure, first of all, it has took this data set AFMSG. It tells that there are 1091 observation, 6 variables, 2 indexes has been created, engine is V9, member is data, when on which date it was created, the last date it was modified, deleted observation 0, compressed no, stored no, message file or Windows 64 representation, and encoding is this. If I move further, it tells that data set page size is this, number of data set pages 6, first data page 1, maximum observation per page to 27. So this is the all information which it has given for a particular data set. Now this is the next data set. So basically what I wanted to show you that if I do not mention a particular data set, it's going to give me the information about each and every data set located into that library. Now if I remove underscore all underscore and I mention my air data set, okay, so let's see what it's going to give as a result. It's running. It'll take a minute and then show the result window. Okay. I think the size of result window has been increased. So we need to stop it and then I will show you again that how. Okay. After this I will close it. So this is the information about air dataset, SAS help.air. It tells that there are 144 observation, 2 variables, 0 indexes, observation length is 16, and all other information like the information about variables that air is numeric, date is again numeric, length is 8, and the format of date is MONYY, month and year. Right? Now let me close it because it will not hang again. So close this results. Alright. So this is exactly it was talking about the content procedure. Now if I go back to log, it will tell you that what exactly it has created. You can see this was for all. So procedure used total process time. Real time was 26 seconds and CPU time was 8.27 seconds. And when I just ran only one data set, that .air, it took 0.09 seconds. You can see the difference. This was with the all data sets and this was with only one data set. Right? Now let's move to the next example. Then submit this procedure. Right? So this is again it's calling all the data sets but no odious. So let me just run it and let's see that what result it's going to get me. I'll use underscore all underscore and then no NODS. So NODS is nothing but no details. So if I run this, it will take some time because again it's working on all the data sets. So it is going to take again around, as last time it took 26 seconds. So again this time also it's going to get some time. We'll just wait and let's see that how many results it's going to show us. Okay. So you can see this time the information is not that elaborated. Earlier when I just mentioned all, so the information was, for each and every data set there was an information attached to it. But now they have given similar information but it's very brief. It is not that descriptive information. So this is what this NODS option does. Okay, so basically when I just tell you that air, if I run this, it will tell you the all information about this SAS help.air dataset, and you need to exactly see it that what all contents are there into this dataset, how many variables are there, how many observations are there, if we have used any indexes, is it there or not, or when this dataset got created, what is the data type of the variables, as we saw into previous one, that one of them was character, one of them was date. So you can see all that information by using proc content. Okay, now let's go back to the slide, and we are going to talk about the SAS dataset. So what SAS dataset is? Okay, so what SAS dataset is? SAS dataset is nothing. Okay, so SAS dataset is nothing but a file which has the data in it. So as we have been using like Excel file, text file, there are number of files which we have been using. In same way, for SAS, we have this SAS dataset wherein we save our data in SAS. So I remember I shown you into the folder. If I go into the SAS environment, let me close this result window first. If I go to Explorer, so these are the SAS data sets, right? If you want to see the data in it, you can directly click on it and you can see the data, or otherwise you can run that proc print command. So you can see there are two variables and these are the number of rows. Rows, when I say rows, those are observations, right? So this is how you can see the data of SAS dataset. Now basically what we are going to do is, or let me just show you the proc content about air once again. Okay, so before meanwhile that is being, result is being pulled, let's see. A SAS data set is a file that SAS creates and processes. It has extension, okay, extension .sas bdt, and then it has two important portions. One is descriptor portion and one is data portion. So descriptor portion is nothing but the description about the information, or information about the data set. So the number of observation length, or the date that SAS dataset was modified. The other facts like name, type, length, format, label. We'll be talking about these things in detail, that what type, length, format and labels are, and whether the variable is indexed or not, right? So now let me show you. We are back again on the content result, proc content result. So you can see here, this is the complete description about the SAS dataset, which was air. Like what is the member type, observation, variable, length, index, labels if we have used one, then we have number of page size, when it was created, when it was deleted, how many variables, and the type of variables. This is basically the description of a SAS dataset. And to see the description of a SAS dataset, we just use this command, proc content data is equal to library name and then the data set name. This is to see the description. And if you want to see the data of a SAS dataset, then you write proc print data is equal to SAS help dot your dataset name and then run command. So this is going to show you yes. So this is going to show you that how your SAS datasets look like, or what kind of data is there in the SAS dataset.